Hey, what's up, guys? So I've had a bunch of people ask me, and by a bunch I mean like one or two, what type of mobility work that I do for my squat warm-ups. So I decided to put together a little video. I start with about 3 minutes on the treadmill. You don't want to do more than that because then you'll start to burn muscle. And then I do a little bit of foam rolling. I try to hit the shins because those typically are a little bit tight for me. I don't really know why. I just go over them a few times with the foam roller. And then I move on to some quad smashing, which I found to be a little bit more beneficial than just your typical foam rolling with the grain. It just helps to loosen them up a little bit. If I'm feeling tight in my IT bands or something, it kind of helps to loosen that area up a little bit. And it's a little bit more painful than the typical foam rolling. So here's that. I'm in a nice gym down in Bradenton, Florida, LA Fitness. Next up, you'll see me working the glutes. Typically, they'll get a little bit tight when I'm squatting, or if I haven't done any foam rolling, or sometimes I'll take a lacrosse ball to them just to kind of help loosen them up because they can get some issues with their being tight, and that can affect your squat depth. So you don't want any of that. After I hit the glutes, I move on down to the lower back. I usually will hear a couple pops there, which is kind of normal to me. My spine cracks a lot. I don't know. Then I move on to the upper back. Just I have crazy amounts of knots between my shoulders because of what I do with powerlifting. So I just try to do whatever I can to kind of loosen that up a little bit. And then you'll see, so this I actually got from a video from Kelly Starrett that I watched as far as hip mobility goes. I have a couple movements that I do that I really try to open up my hips. And I'm actually doing little swivels. I'm trying to take my pelvis and tilt it back to get it in the proper position and really stretch out kind of my hips and the inner thigh there. You'll see I twist my torso, I lose my balance a little bit, but I twist my torso to the side and do the same movement, little oscillations there. And then here I'm trying to push my knee away from my belly button and really just try to open up my hip a little bit. Then I'll hit the Achilles tendon. That seems to typically be pretty tight on me, so I try to loosen that up a little bit. And sometimes I'll spend about 30 seconds to a minute in this position, just kind of depending on how they feel. I actually noticed I had a scuff on my new kicks right there, so I was trying to clean that off, but it didn't come off. And then I try to hit the IT band a little bit. These are crazy tight on me all the time, just from, I don't know, genetics, I guess, or all the squatting that I do kind of has a part in it. So I just try to loosen them up a little bit as best as I can and try to make sure everything is loose. And then I do everything on the opposite leg, but I don't want to show it to you because it'd be a waste of time showing you the same thing. Um, so then I think I saw these from Bryce Lewis. I really just try to open up the back a little bit. I usually get an additional couple cracks here and there, but just try to get everything loosened up. I mean, this is the same mobility routine that I've done probably for the past year or so, and I've managed to stay fairly so injury free. So here I do a little bit of the calves. My calves are always tight. I'm pretty much always tight all over. This nice lady stopped to do something in the background. Who knows? Just trying to loosen up my calves a little bit here. Calves are actually one of the things where you can do some static stretching when before you're about to squat, and it won't have negative effect on it. Everything else, I try to keep it dynamic stretching, just to you don't want to get things too loose here. I'm trying to loosen up the ankles a little bit, get a little bit of tension on the quads, and then I go into a standing position where I'm doing some dynamic stretches with the hamstrings and really trying to go down into that squat position and opening up the hips. I usually will spend no more than like 5 seconds in each position just because I don't want to get into kind of like a static stretching motion. I'm really just trying to loosen everything up and get things ready for when I squat. And that's Brittany walking in front of me because she doesn't care what I'm doing. No, I'm just kidding. She's awesome. Uh, so after this, I'll do a little bit more stretching with the shoulders because my shoulders are always tight. That's I've that's been that way since like I cheered at UCF, always had an issue with shoulder mobility, so I really try to loosen them up and do everything that I can, stretch the wings a little bit, because I try to hit everything so that I don't miss anything and have like some random ass strain or something, but you can never prevent it all. So just trying to get the shoulders nice and flexed out or stretched out. Here I'm hitting a little bit of shoulders and actually wrist as well, because I've had some wrist injuries in the past. So I really like to make sure that my wrists are nice and warmed up. I do a little bit of circling here just to warm them up all the ways, and then I stretch them other ways that I haven't already, just to, try to prevent anything. And then from here, I will transition into the actual warm up that I do for my squats. The warm up is a pretty long time. Oh, first I do some hip swings. I do about 10 to 12. I don't show them all because I'm trying not to make this video 20 minutes long. But 10 to 12 frontward and backward, and then the same thing sideways with each leg. Really just trying to open the hips up, and if anything is tight, try to loosen it up a little bit, get the ankles feeling nice and mobile so when I do squats they don't have any issues, and just trying to get the hips ready. One last thing for my shoulders I do here, because it's hard to get them in the position that I need them in, and I high bar. So you would think that it's not that hard, but actually they're just so immobile that I have to do a lot of work even to get them in that position, which is why I definitely could not low bar. I actually tried that for a year, and I had so many uh, wrist and elbow and lower back problems, and I wasn't even stronger in it. So I was like, this is just a waste. Like my body is just made to high bar, so that's what I've stuck with. So here you get the actual sets. I do 2 sets with 135 pounds, 5 to 10 reps, just depending on how it feels. Trying to get all the steps right and everything, loosen things up. It usually takes about my third or fourth set until my shoulders and elbows are feeling good, when they're not feeling like they're crazy tight anymore. Here's 225, just a couple reps, nothing. You don't want to tire yourself out on the warm up. Sometimes I see people doing warm ups and they're like struggling with it. Like, why? That doesn't make any sense to struggle with a warm up. I do 315 just for one set, around 2 to 3 reps, just to kind of get feeling good. So now it gets serious. I got the belt on and the shoes are strapped up. So I do 405 for a single, trying to pretend like it's a 1 rep max. Here I got 455, making sure the footsteps are good, my breathing's good, my belt's nice and locked in, and I'm thinking like this is 650. I'm about to blow out of the hole like I'm doing at the Arnold. What's up? So here's the grand finale. 505, 4 reps. Can he get it? Will he fail? Here he goes. He got it. Of course, I'm not going to put a video up here where I fail. Come on, guys. uh, they felt good. The third one was all kinds of whacked out. I don't know what happened. It's the first time since I've done this weight in a long time, so just a little different feeling having that much on your back. But the second and third felt pretty good.